Queen D3. Oh my god. And Captain Bill blunders the rook. Oh, it is catastrophic. Captain Bill is now down a rook after a slight miscalculation. One move is all it takes to lose. And that is why chess is so brutal. And we are underway for the first match of the full Strive Chess Tournament. And we are going to actually watch from Black's perspective in this first game. And then we are going to alternate between White and Black as the tournament progresses. Also, due to Ika having a much higher elo than LG in Rapid, which is what our tournament bracket is, we go off of Rapid elo because that's the most common time control. We are requiring Ika to wait 2 minutes until he has 1 minute on his clock to play his fourth move, because if you don't play your fourth move, chess.com will abort you from the game. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this in the stream, if you want to participate in one of our chess tournaments, all you have to do is join our Discord server. We have tournaments on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we always have a lot of fun. I am always actively commentating the games, and if you want to watch your replay, I post all of our broadcasts on YouTube now, and they are so freaking fun. If you want to hop in, and also you get a $10 cash prize if you win the tournament, and it's free entry, join the Discord server, and all you gotta do is sign up for the chess tournament, and you are in. We have so much freaking fun. And this is going to be an absolute banger of a tournament right here. So LG responded to Ika's C3 move. Okay, so Ika had to play a move because I believe it was going to auto-abort him there. So now the bishop comes out. And now Ika's going to wait. He has to wait 1 more minute. And Ika actually has an advantage early here. Let's see here. So the bishop now slides up to G4 for LG. Let's see here. Yeah, so bishop comes up here. The next best move here is to go knight e5, queen b3. Okay, wait, what? Queen b3. Queen b3. Knight e5. Oh, wait, what? Knight e5. Knight e5 or bishop f4. All right. And we have 24 seconds until this match gets underway. This one's going to be fireworks. LG, a very promising up-and-coming blitz player and rapid player at that. He's been in the Discord server for a number of years. And I believe Ika's time was about to abort him again, so I think he had to play one more move, but he has to wait until he has 1 minute on his clock before he can play another move. 13 seconds. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's get this match underway. Ika immediately responds with e3. LG pushing the pawn forward. He has very solid development here, and I honestly believe that you should take the bishop here. Well done by LG. Queen takes back, and now we are probably going to see bishop here. Yep, excellent move from LG. Pin the knight to the king. Great stuff. And honestly, I probably wouldn't mind. It's kind of tricky. Like, I probably wouldn't take the knight here. Eventually, you probably want to get your bishop back here to negate this bishop, because this bishop is sniping all of these dark squares right here, so it can be a little bit difficult to navigate that. Also, chat, mods in the chat, please start dropping predictions. Let's get those predictions going. So, LG vouches to slide the queen up. A very bold move, moving the queen to a5, putting pressure on this knight. Now, I'm thinking Ika it says castle. But if Ika goes rook c1, that's apparently a blunder because of queen takes on a2. So Ika has to be very careful here in how he navigates. Oh my god, and LG has an advantage. LG has the advantage. He needs to take this pawn. Queen takes on a2. That is the only winning move that maintains the advantage. And he finds it. Excellent stuff from LG so far. Now the knight is still pinned, and keep in mind the knight is pinned, so the knight couldn't take the queen. Like the knight couldn't take the queen here. And now the queen is threatening this pawn too, and there is so much stuff that Ika has to answer. But he has 30 seconds on his clock. Can he figure out a plan and figure out a plan fast? You get 2 seconds of bonus time every time you make a move. And he vouches to castle. That is a good move. Now I'm thinking, does LG take the pawn here? LG taking a little bit of time, as he should. He has lots of time on his clock, and he does take the pawn. Okay, so now Ika is officially... Oop, nope, he takes the pawn and gains a couple more seconds on his clock. He's about to get in the red there. And now LG, I'm probably taking with this pawn. I'm probably taking with the c pawn. The c pawn makes sense. Oh, wait, no, the engine's calling for the e pawn. Oh my god, and apparently that's a blunder. I even would have played that. Now the knight has to move. The knight has to move now. And the pawn pushes, and LG now has the advantage again because of takes. And the rook can't take because the queen's covering, but he misses it and takes the pawn, and now the knight takes. This is getting really fast because Ika is very low on time. Oh my god, a crippling blunder by LG. Can Ika find the win in the final seconds of this one? Sliding the queen down. Apparently that's a blunder too. But the bishop takes and now the queen takes back. LG's up 2 pieces of material as it stands. And you cannot castle here now because the knight is hanging right now. The knight is hanging. You need to do something about the knight first. But he castles and now the knight is blundered. But Ika misses it and slides the rook over. A normal move, a very standard move to play when you are in low time control. Now, do you move the queen here? It says queen f6. Queen f6. Queen f6. You can't get to f6. What? Knight f6. It says knight f6. Attacking the queen here. Ooh, that's actually crazy. That's the only move for LG. Because it saves the knight. And if the rook takes, the knight will take the queen. Oh my god, can LG find it? No, he cannot. And the knight is going to fall off the board. And just like that, Ika has a 2-point advantage in the sheer blink of an eye. But don't go anywhere. This game could turn on its head very, very fast. Now the bishop slides down to c4. How does LG respond? I'm thinking in my head. Perhaps. Okay. It says g6. G6. h5. Or I think that was a move too. Slide the rook over. But LG has to be careful of this ice skater. And now checkmate is being threatened. Actually, no. The king can get away. LG does a good job blocking the attack coming down on this diagonal. And now the queen slides up. LG needs to keep pieces on the board. No, he trades the queen. That's not good. He trades the queen. And now the rook slides up to attack. Can Ika find the winning calculations in 20 seconds? LG with 1 minute on his clock now, desperately pushing the pawn, trying to figure out a way to get through. I say push the pawn again. I say a4. No, he vouches to slide the rook back. And now you cannot defend this pawn because if you slide your rook down, the pawn is going to take. LG is on the ropes early. Ika is looking like he's going to take the game by its head, by the horns. King slides up. Is there anything LG can do to salvage this? 50 seconds on LG's clock. And you cannot defend this pawn. If you push it, pawn takes, rook takes. And it is, and Ika Ewok is mere seconds away from winning this game and finishing off LG in round 1. King slides back down to f2. Now the rook slides down to c6. Rook slides up, e4. Rook check. And now the rook's probably going to block. No, the bishop blocks. I like that move from Ika. LG has 48 seconds. Can LG pull off the unthinkable miracle and force some sort of draw? Anything. Can he find anything in this spot? Now the pawn pushes. I think you push this pawn now. You push this pawn, takes. And then, ooh, and he slides the pawn over. And now the rook's just going to take with check. Oh, it's brutal. King now slides up, and now the rook is going to check and collect this rook. And there is no stopping these pawns. He has 3 pawns that are going to be pushing here, plus a bishop. LG is looking more and more grim by the second. Pawn pushes. King slides down to f6. King boosts forward to f4. King now goes down to g7. Pawn pushes to g5. Pawn takes on g5. H-pawn takes back on g5. King slides down. And now you just push the pawns. LG slides his king over. It's over. LG looking for a desperate attempt at a stalemate. Can he find it? Can he find a stalemate in the dying embers of this game? The engine is saying mate in 5. And LG has 32 seconds on his clock. Slides the king up. The pawn now pushes. King slides up. Queen is promoted. And it does not look like LG is going to get out of this. Oh, but Ika delivers a check on the H file. That's interesting. Typically, you probably try and force the king into a box and then slide your king up. Now you probably slide the king up. Oh, it's brutal. Ika with a very, very phenomenal game. Now it's mate in 3. Mate in 4. Ika now has more time than LG. That is crazy. He was down to 15 seconds at one point in this game. Crazy stuff. Now the pawn pushes. And it looks like Ika's just trying to play this one safe, try and not get a stalemate here. Mate in 3 again. Now the queen slides up. Queen slides up there. And now you literally just move your king in. Move your king in. Actually, no, you can probably just push this pawn and then... Yeah, okay, that's fine too. All right, king slides up. One more time. And checkmate is delivered on move 67. And Ika is our first winner of round 1 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. And we are underway for game 2 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. Katie with the white pieces, Super with the black pieces, and we have e4 followed by c5, a Sicilian defense. Katie playing exactly how I would play. She's now going to push the pawn, I imagine. Nice. And if takes, and if the knight comes out, I usually just take the knight. Oh, and Katie has an advantage early. Apparently that's a mistake from Supra. E takes d5, best move on the board. And Katie finds it. And right out the gate, Katie has a spatial advantage, according to the analysis. Start dropping your predictions down in the chat, guys. Who's going to take this one? So now Katie moves the bishop up to f4, and just like that, the advantage is lost. Keep in mind the engine is also 3 million elo, so I would take everything the engine says with a grain of salt. Anyways, pawn is attacking here, and now in my head, I'm thinking probably just move the bishop here, I would say. Nice. Good job, Katie. Well done by Katie. And now how does Super respond here? In my opinion, I think Super should probably... Ooh, no, he might moves the bishop up. That could be bad. I was thinking slide the bishop here, and then if bishop takes, queen takes, and then you're just chilling for now. Oh, this could get really scary. Now Katie vouches the castle. That's one of the best moves on the board. Well done by Katie. And Katie has an advantage early. This is the Sicilian defense Marshall counterattack. Ooh. So Super, I believe, needs to start getting these pieces into the game and developing here. Oh my god, he moves his queen up, but that is apparently catastrophic because of bishop g5. And now the queen's going to have to move. But Super finds a very interesting move. Taking the knight there on c6 and Katie finds a good move on taking the knight on c6, and Super takes back on c6. Now the best move on the board is rook e1 check. And after rook e1 check, the bishop is going to block. That is the best move on the board. If the knight blocks, then the bishop is going to be blocked. So that's going to be bad. So Katie now slides... Ooh, that's actually kind of dicey. So Katie slides the bishop up now, attacking the queen, and now maybe she's thinking about getting the rook over. Ooh, this could get really dicey here. So, okay, so... Super has to move the queen here. It says queen h6, queen h6, queen g6. And apparently that was a catastrophic move. Rook slides over, and the bishop can't go there now. Because if the bishop goes there, Katie's just going to take the pawn and take the... Oh! And Super blunders! Super blunders! The rook is going to fall! Oh, it is devastating for Supra! A catastrophic mistake, a miscalculation in the position, leads to Katie taking the pawn on g7, and shortly after this, she will be taking the rook right here. Oh, it is crippling for Supra. A devastating blunder by Supra. And honestly, don't even take the rook. If the rook is trapped still, just take the pawn. Okay, still taking the rook is fine. But okay, and now the bishop. How does this one end? So Super vouches to push the pawn forward. So knight takes on d4 is the best move, and then queen takes on d4 is a good move, and then queen d3 is also a good move. Those are the 3 top engine moves. Super might be thinking about getting the bishop out now, perhaps. That might be what he's thinking about. Or sorry, I meant Katie. Or I guess Super's black pieces. LOL. I am colorblind. The king slide. Oh my god! And now it is mate in 2. It is mate in 2. And Katie is going to find it. One move in the position. And this is checkmate. And Katie finds it and delivers checkmate on move 15. One of the fastest games we have seen in this tournament. What a game from Katie. GG's Katie. GG's Supra. And we are underway for round 1, game 3 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. We have a ready opening played here by Captain Bill. Knight f3, pawn c4. Pawn now takes on d5. Queen takes back on d5. Pawn now strikes down the center, playing d4 by Captain Bill. And how does Innick respond here? Innick is a very passionate chess player. If you did not know, he has been in the server for a couple months now, and he has participated in chess tournaments before, I should say. He is very solid, and also I forgot to get the EVOP bar on screen, so go ahead and get that on there for y'all. And a very, very promising talent. He has progressed in ELO, but let's see if he can prove it in this one against Captain Bill. So with that being said, we have Bishop sliding up to G2. How on earth? Oh my. And apparently that is crippling for Innick. Captain Bill now has a slight advantage on the eval bar. Innick pushes, or Captain Bill pushes the pawn now. Now the bishop's like, oh, and there's nothing you can do. The pawn's gonna go there. Now the bishop has to slide back. Bishop C1. Best move on the board. Bishop C1. Queen B3. Queen A4. Queen A4. Here. Oh my god, and it's crippling early for Captain Bill. And Captain Bill finds his best move on the board. What a stellar find by Captain Bill. Bishop G6, Bishop C4. Top edge moves for Innick. He finds Bishop C4. Well done. Now Captain Bill needs to either go Queen C2 or Knight D2. Ooh, okay. Evo bar significantly favoring Captain Bill in this spot because he has a very solid position as it stands. Innick is one slight miscalculation away from being down a tremendous amount of material early on in this one, so he needs to be precise in his moves as he progresses. Captain Bill now vouches to push the queen forward. A move ago, that would have been a lot better, but in this spot, it is still okay. I don't mind it at all. It does spin the knight to the king, and the king cannot castle as it stands because the knight is still blocking. So in this spot, you probably... And also, you got to keep in mind, too, the black bishop is currently sniping here. Oh, my God. And Captain Bill... Blunders! Does Innick find it? Does Innick find it? He does not. Sliding the bishop up. The knight needed to take here on E5. Now the knight needs to take on D5. Wait, what? Or bishop takes on D5. Oh, but apparently that's not even good. And you'd be lying, bro. Anyways, now Innick can probably take with the queen or the knight. Oh no, you can't take with the queen because the pawn, the knight is guarding there. So he takes with the pawn. I also missed that you could take with the pawn there too. So he does take with the pawn, and apparently that was the second top engine move as it stood. Now black is probably going to have to castle here eventually. Now the knight takes back. Good move from Innick, not doubling the pawns because you don't want to have double pawns as much as you can. And white should probably try and think about castling here as soon as possible. Now the queen slides down to attack this pawn, but Innick very, very cleverly slides the knight back to defend this pawn with the queen, so now the attack is negated by both the queen and the knight. Now let's see here. Okay, so I think white should honestly castle here. Castling's the second top engine move. A4 is what the next top engine move would be. I think Captain Bill should castle here. Oh my god, and Captain Bill does play A4. A crazy find. Both players are playing very, very solid as it stands. Very even on the clock. Captain Bill with a slight disadvantage on the clock as it stands. And Bishop A7 is top engine move. Bishop C7 is also good. Nicely done. Captain Bill now slides the knight here. And this knight is going to be very, very powerful. If the knight can get here, which it's looking like it's going to be able to, it's going to be threatening so many squares. But Innick slides the bishop down, negating the threat. However, the engine hates it because of castles, F3, F5, Bishop D2, Rook E8. Wow, I'm not even going to go into that. And now Captain Bill slides the knight in. And it says black is in a winning position here, but it's not quite certain why. Innick doing a great job of sliding the rook over when it was under attack. A very well-timed rook placement on the b-file. And I think Captain Bill needs to castle. I think he needs to castle. The engine is screaming castle. It is screaming at the top of its lungs. Castle, Captain Bill, castle! Will we find castles, though? He can also play knight a4. Oh, slides the bishop up to d2. I honestly don't hate that move at all. I made a noise, but honestly, it's not even that bad. Ooh, and that's because the pawns are going to get doubled now. Now, how do you stop this? Knight a4? Okay, yeah, the knight could escape. Okay, well done by Captain Bill spotting knight a4. Because if he wouldn't have moved the knight there, the bishop would have taken pawn takes and then queen takes, and Captain Bill would have been down a pawn. Nicely done by Captain Bill. Captain Bill is a little bit lower on the clock, though, as it stands. Oh my god, and now the pawn strikes. And Captain Bill plays the forced move on Poisson. A forced calculation by Captain Bill. A very, very stellar find. Now, Captain Bill needs to be very, very careful here. Because if this rook slides up, and let's say Captain Bill does castle now, the queen can just take here. Because if the pawn takes, the rook's going to take the queen. There's some calculations that are going to have to go into this one. I honestly think Enoch should slide the rook. Ooh, no. Oh my god, and Captain Bill says screw castling. Castling is for 9-year-olds with glasses. Sliding the king up to e2, and now Enoch responds with rook to e8. Captain Bill follows that up with rook to e1, and now this pawn is being threatened. It is a very easy way to defend this. You can go queen here, and also queen here probably. The queen is screaming for queen c8. Nice find by Enoch, and now the pawn is defended as it stands, and now maybe perhaps you slide the queen over to queen d3. Oh my god, and Captain Bill blunders the rook. Oh, it is catastrophic. Captain Bill is now down a rook after a slight miscalculation. One move is all it takes to lose. And that is why chess is so brutal. Enoch wasting no time, stealing the pieces and taking a 4-piece advantage and a 5.6-point advantage on the eval bar. And now the knight can take here. The knight can take this because the rook is pinning the pawn to the king. But instead he pushes the pawn. Bold. I love it. And might I remind you, the pawn cannot take because the pawn is currently being pinned to the king. And due to Captain Bill sliding the king up here previously, he would have been able to get out of this threat later in the game if he would have castled. But unfortunately, that is not in fact the case. Now the king can't even go anywhere because it's being x-rayed by the queen there. Is there some kind of miracle that Captain Bill has in the works for us? Don't leave for 1 second. The engine says this game is over, but anything can happen. With 37 seconds on his clock, Enoch slides his knight up to b5. Captain Bill now responds with sliding the bishop back to b2. And now perhaps you could probably go check. King slides over, and you can't really do much. I think Captain Bill should now slide the king over after. So after queen c6, I think he should slide the king over to king. Oh, it says king e2. What the heck? King e2, top engine move. H4. Another top engine move, and then queen f3. Captain Bill vouches for queen d2. Now, Enoch takes a pawn on c5, and he is looking to just claim the position. And Captain Bill, a catastrophic trade. He needed to keep his queen on the board. Oh, it is just devastating for Captain Bill. A brutal finish to this one is in the works. Oh my god. Two very, very solid performances from these players, but one blunder is in fact all it takes for the game to be turned on its head and for you to lose this one. That is why we love chess. That is why chess is so beautiful, and Enoch doing a great job taking pieces off the board as he is up a complete and fully optimized rook. Captain Bill looking for any sort of way to try and negate Enoch's advantage, trying to force a draw of any possible caliber he can muster. Now the king slides down, and it is all Enoch here. All Enoch has to do now is just push the pawns forward, and it is going to be GG's, and there is no coming back from this for Captain Bill. King now slides down to g2. Pawn pushes to g4. King slides down, and Enoch does need to be careful here. A stalemate is possible still. King now slides up. And it looks like Enoch's honestly just trying to get more time on his clock. He also needs to be careful that he doesn't repeat moves. If he repeats moves, we've had that happen in our tournaments before where someone has repeated moves and they just get cooked for it. Captain Bill doing a good job sliding the king down. Ooh, and now this king is going to get in here. Or is it? Now the king can't go here. But he slides the rook over, and now the king does have to move again, and now the king will get in here. And it is going to be checkmate brewing in just a few moves here. Check delivered by Enoch. Oh my god, and if he would have taken the pawn here, it would have been a stalemate. King now slides over. Is there a way that Captain Bill can rescue the position and get a stalemate? Now the rook slides down with check. An excellent maneuvering from Enoch, stopping white in their tracks. And now the pawn pushes. And now you got to be... I thought Enoch just blocked with the pawn covers. Nicely done from Enoch. Rook takes. And now, honestly, you probably just slide, yep, just like that. Sliding the rook back. Now the king comes back, and you probably just go here now. And when the king goes here, you go here. King can go here. Oh, but he vows to push the pawn. Pawn pushes. Can Captain Bill get a stalemate here? No, sir, because the queen is going to be promoted on the g1 square. But he promotes to a rook. A nasty, disgusting move from Enoch. And in the mere blink of an eye, checkmate is delivered on move 78. 8. And we are underway for game 1 of round 2 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. We have a very fast opening here. This is the King Pawns opening. King's Knight, Elephant, Paulson, Counter Gambit. Oh my god, wait. This was an Elephant Gambit. The worst opening in chess. Oh my god, and White has an advantage here. Best move on the board is to go to Queen E2. I have studied this at tremendous lengths due to one of my friends in my Discord server always playing it against me, and it's very annoying. I never know what to do. But anyways, Queen E2 is the best move. You can also go Knight E5, apparently. Knight E5 here. Knight E5, and you can also go Knight G1. Knight G1 is obviously probably a bad move. Katie needs to slide her queen up to pin the pawn to the king, though. That is the best move on the board here. Crazy we have an Elephant Gambit early on in this one. Oh my god, and Katie's out. And it's devastating. It's devastating. Katie is on the ropes. The knight jumps forward, but the pawn is going to take the bishop. Oh my god. In the mere matter of seconds, the game looks like it's going to be over. Katie, a devastating blunder. She needed to go Queen E2. Ewok or Ika. Unbelievable. We're only on move 6. And it is a +3 advantage. Queen slides it forward. Katie looking for that checkmate. Imagine if you went here. Don't go there. That would be very bad because you have checkmate here. Oh my word though. But that is actually insane, bro. Yeah, so I don't really... Jeez, bro. This is actually crazy, bro. Best move on the board here is Bishop E6. Queen C7. And that also works. Because the Queen C7 would have defended the pawn on checkmate. But that's still a good move there from Ika. Now Ika's looking to try and take this pawn here, which makes sense. Very, very logical to me. So, gosh, the Elephant Gambit just does all sorts of things to someone's mental, bro. The Elephant Gambit is by far the most annoying yet powerful opening in chess. Oh my god, but Ika blunders, and now Katie has a slight chance to equalize here. She's only now one piece of material, though, as it stands. Now Ika slides the queen up. Oh, and that is devastating. Because now the knight is going... And Katie has a move! Queen takes on A8! Does Katie find it? Does she find it? Take the rook, take the rook! Katie, you have to take the rook here. Please, you have to take the rook. Katie has a chance to save the game. Does she take the rook here? Katie, you have to take the rook. And she fights it. Do not leave for a single second. And even if you take the knight here, the queen's going to take the bishop. Ika with a catastrophic calculation error. I am at a loss of words right now. Folks, do not blink. Do not wince. Do not leave the string for a single second. It looked like the game was over, but it is in fact Katie who has the advantage as it stands. Unprecedented. Ika had the whole world in front of him, and now he is using so much time, and he is now below Katie on the clock. I cannot believe my eyes right now. This is crippling. Complete and utterly crippling. Queen D8, only move. You can also go Queen C5, also defending the bishop while simultaneously attacking the knight. Knight takes on E5 is also a move. But after that, the queen's going to take it. You can only block it, and the queen's going to take it. The king's going to be forced to take. And you cannot trade down material in this spot. And Ika vouches to take the knight. And just like that, Katie takes the bishop. And due to an unbelievable turn of events, Katie, against all odds, is going to be favored. It only took one move. That is chess for you. One move is all it will do. And the game will be turned on its head. I have to adjust my glasses because I can't quite comprehend if this is in fact real or not. Oops, I accidentally just closed the chat, but it's fine. I just Crumbling. Just a complete and utter crumble from Ika. You gotta feel for the poor individual. Crippling. Now the knight slides forward to c3, and Katie's going to be looking to get her bishop forward and then connect these rooks, and Ika will be forced to do something about this queen because eventually the queen will potentially get pinned to the king, and you just have to make sure you are wary of that. The queen now takes here on c2. Rook slides over to deliver check, and Katie is a couple moves away. King f6, and it is now mate in 3. Can Katie find it? Bishop f4 check. Knight e5 block. Bishop takes on bishop takes on e5. And the king has one move. Knight d5 checkmate. And Katie, for the second time in this clash, has delivered checkmate with the knight on move 18. An unbelievable performance from Katie. Katie is moving on to the championship round. Congratulations, Katie.